Welcome to my Periscope. We're doing a watercolor here of Gambit from the early 90s X-Men. So with my Winsor Newton travel set, let's create a flesh tone and get his skin done first. So I got some red, get some yellow in here. So since we got a little bit more real estate because his face is so large, I want to make sure I make up enough paint here. So then work some white into the mix. And a lot of water. This is the Kuretake Niji water brush pen. I have the medium and fine point brushes that I'll be using here today. Then I have a test board here that I can test out my colors to make sure I'm getting the shade that I want. A little more white here, and I think we're good to go. All right. So fill up the brush, and then let's cut it in. Let's see. Not sure if that's quite the shade I'm looking for. Add just a little more yellow to that. I think that's looking more like what I'm wanting here. So one thing you want to make sure you learn is the planes of the face. It takes a lot of study and for life drawing to kind of start to understand how the shapes of the face, the chin, the jawline, how the muscles of the cheeks pull. But when you start to understand that, it makes your coloring a bit easier because you know how to cut the colors to accentuate the shapes and bones and muscles of the face and the inner workings of the ear, which always challenged me as a kid. Alright, so I got my base coat of flesh tone down. Just going to pull a little bit off to the side here on my board just to make a lighter version. Just going to make it lighter by adding more water to it. What I want to do is eat up some of this white spot that I left open with a lighter shade. Of my flesh tone. Alright, now let's see, I want to add some red to that lighter shade to get a little bit more of a, let's see, pull some of that flesh tone back into there. And want to make kind of a pinkish hue for the nose, for the lips, the cheeks, a little bit here on the chin. Alright. You put a little bit of this in the earlobe here a little bit. Just a little bit. Just going to use a little bit more red here. Just because I want to cut the shape there on that nose just a little redder. Alright, now with the flesh tone that I have here, I want to darken it up a little bit, so I'm going to use a little bit of my blue to start to create... Oh, excuse me, my goodness, how rude. Create a little shadow color here. My apologies, gang. GoBots versus Transformers, I didn't catch your full comment there. Here on the broadcast, but I want to say thanks for making the comment. If you're asking if I had a preference, GoBots over Transformers, I'm always going to pick Transformers. If I understood your question correctly. So now I'm cutting in the shadow color around his eyes. Really want to keep it dark around his eyes, keep him mysterious. Cut it into the inner workings of his ears here. Underneath his chin here. I want to get even grayer up underneath his eyes. I really want that to be mysterious, so I'm going to add more blue to that flesh tone to make it even grayer. While we wait here, I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit more before I layer in some gray. I don't want the paper to start to tear. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to start to make up his hair color. Start working up some browns. So I make sure the darker and the lighter browns. Gonna work some blue in that as well, just to kind of give it a darker shade of brown. And if I end up going a little too dark, I can just add more brown and water to it. Start to kind of lighten it up. Yeah, like that. Alright, so let's just go ahead and tackle the hair right now. With the hair, I'm going to pull from the base of his head along the guidelines of what I established for the texture and flow of his hair, so that the paint goes in the same direction as the line work. Alright, kind of gets the hair going there. I'm going to lighten up that that color of hair to bring in another level of brown to pull from the darker into the lighter, the white parts. I'm going to make it really dark because I want to get some of those roots even darker. So I added more blue to my brown. Alright. So let's see. It looks like the under eye area has dried enough, so I'm going to clean out my brush tip. Squeezing some water into the through the brush bristles into a paper towel here to make this clean. And I'm going into that grayish flesh tone I made to drop in some more shadowy area under his eye here. And we'll put some underneath the nose, the nostrils there a bit. Maybe a little bit under that lip. Earrings down by the chin. A little of the deeper parts of the inner ear. Just kind of blend it a little bit there. Alright, now let's work on his jacket. So it's going to be I want that to be a lighter shade of brown than his hair. So I'm using the lighter shade of brown and this kind of amber color here. Alright, let's give this a whirl. Just getting in the base shapes. All right. So let's add some more. Didn't quite make enough there. Need to make up some more brown, some more Gambit trench coat brown. I'm going to make it a little darker for the shadow part, so adding a little more brown and a little blue in there. come in and cut with those shadows. Whoops, hopefully that wasn't too much off screen. Use a lot of water here in my made color to add a little more of that amber, lighten it up, and then kind of blend it into the whites of the board that I've left open a bit. Oops, sorry, I went off the board again there, didn't I? Realizing I want a little more shadow here down below. Now I've made the board so wet that as I from the previous paints there, that as I cut in with the shadow here, it has a lot of paint and water to bleed with to create some fun shapes. So I've gone from wet paint on dry board to pretty much wet paint onto wet board. Alright. Clean off the brush. Let's create the kind of gray, the gray needed for, the bluish gray for his headgear here. So since I used brown for that anyway, I'll just use the brown that I've been working on for his jacket. Start adding some blues and browns to that. Start creating that shade of gray that I want. Starting to head towards the direction I'm looking. A little brighter blue in there. I think this will work. Alright, just keep cutting it in here. There we go. Let's see. All right, Still have a little bit of room left here for his kind of the armored parts of his shirt area, which is kind of got a blue going through here, and you barely have room for the pink down at the very bottom corner. We'll just use a little red for now, just so that it's addressed. Let's see, we need to come up with some red for his eye, his red iris. A wee bit out of the line here, so I'm just going to dab that out. Probably should have switched over to the finer tipped brush pen. In fact, I'll do that now, just so I don't keep making the same mistake over and over and over, trying to use the medium brush tip. There we go. Use some brown and blue to create a kind of a darker shade of red, just for on the outsides there. Create a little variation. I'm going to leave that white highlight on there. And then a background wash. So, yikes. Come back paint. Stay in your tray. Let's create a purple. Let's go with a purple wash, since there's a lot of purple in his energy signature. Got some red. We're just working a little more blue here. Get a little more red up in here. Alright. Yeah, I'm liking how that's coming together. Get some more water in there. So since Gambit's kind of cutting this way, I want to cut the background wash in kind of the opposite direction. This is my intention here. Alright, let's drop in some more of a reddish purple in here. Take my paper towel, just kind of do a little dab. Just create some light areas. There we go. There's our finished Gambit. Want to say thanks for tuning in. Periscope friends for the broadcast. Thanks YouTube friends for watching the Periscope broadcast uploaded on YouTube. You can see a shot of this on my social networks, Twitter, Instagram, Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page, Tumblr. They're all Todd Nauck. Well, except for Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. That's Art of Todd Nauck. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can see a link below to the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page, and you can go see a scan of this illustration live and in person. So, thanks so much for tuning in, gang. I really appreciate all the support.